Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community, and let's talk about me for once, right? A lot of times we talk about other people in this segment. It's a good time because I've hit a new low on the scale. It's a new time for me to discuss my weight loss and what I'm going to actually have to do this year versus what I thought I was going to have to do to reach my goals. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And guys, my last DEXA scan was humbling, and a lot of people are asking, why haven't you put it up? Because I already know it's going to be ripped apart. What I will do, though, when I do the third one, I will put all three of them together. And I've already acknowledged that I did not reach my goals on the last DEXA scan, right? I lost fat, but I also lost lean mass. I lost more lean mass than I thought I would, and I lost less fat than I thought I would. And I have to acknowledge that, and I accept that. And again, I don't think I shouldn't need to publish the numbers for people to understand that I've admitted that I didn't reach my goal, right? Because that's what the numbers are going to confirm. I don't feel like going through the trouble to do that. But what I will do, when I get the third one, we will put all three of them in a sequence, and we'll see the difference. And you guys will see what I'm talking about. Because my lean mass loss was way more than I thought it should have been. A lot of it was probably water and glycogen because, again, I dropped 5 pounds in like 10 days going into it because my weight loss had stalled in the middle. And then I finally realized it was a wake-up call for me. It's like I've got to adjust what I'm doing. I have to accept those numbers as truth. I have to accept that whether it was how much muscle versus was just water lost and things like that doesn't matter. I'm going to accept it as lean mass loss, right? I accept those numbers for what they are, and at a certain point I have to say, okay, I have to adjust what I'm doing. My approach has got to be different. I need to be losing weight more quickly, and I need to be doing a little more training volume. I need to be eating a lot more protein, and that's why, again, I've adjusted what I'm doing. But as of now, I'm down 8 pounds since the last DEXA scan. I stepped on the scale at 222.2 this morning, which kind of worried me because the scale shot up the other day. I gained like 7 pounds out of nowhere. But I know what happened. I got sweaty doing some other stuff. I was helping with something. We have a friend who's a single mother. She needed help moving some furniture and stuff. I went over and moved it, and then I got pretty sweaty doing it. Then I ate a bunch of pickles after the extra salt. Scale went up like 7 pounds the next morning. Even though I was in a calorie deficit that day, I only ate like 2,500 calories that day. Mostly protein. Like it was like over 400 grams of protein. And I'm like, how in the hell? And then it went back down. And now I've dropped all the way back down and swooshed it off. But I'm sitting at 222. And I've already done the calculations. I'm going to assume my last DEXA scan was accurate. I'm going to assume I really was still at 22% body fat, even at 230 pounds. And I've had to assess from there that is my baseline again from where I'm working from. And I have to accept that. And I have to accept that contrary, no matter what I do, I keep telling people I'm trying to gain muscle in the gym, but people need to understand the point of that is by trying to gain muscle, it will limit the amount that I lose, right? Because I'm going to have to lose weight fast enough at this point to reach my goals for the year, because I wanted to be 15% body fat or under on a DEXA scan by the end of the year. I am going to have to accept logically that there will be some lean mass loss to reach that goal. I have to accept that. But in my training approach, I do not have to approach my training with that mentality. My training, I need to take the approach, and this is a psychological trick, that I am going to gain muscle. So people say, why? So that I can stimulate growth when I'm training. Push my sets a little bit harder. Push myself hard enough and do enough workload to stimulate growth, because that will stave off some of the loss. Because you guys know I'm not in a deficit on my 3 training days right now. That's the only day I eat carbs. And some people are like, so you're saying you're eating a ton of carbs? No, I'm not. I'm not at all. When I say I'm eating my carbs on those days, I'm talking about maybe 150 grams of carbs, maybe. And that's before and after my training. It's kind of split up. Like, for example, Friday, my carbs for Friday were 2 cantaloupes. A cantaloupe is around 270 calories, mostly carbs. Right? So we're talking about just over 500 calories of mostly carbohydrates. I had one of them before my training, and I ate the other cantaloupe after I finished my deadlifts, right? I had chicken salads the rest of the day, like over 3 pounds of chicken. I had 2 protein shakes, and I had a couple spoons of natural peanut butter. That's what I ate. So those 2 cantaloupes represent my carbs for the day. Yesterday was one of my non-training days. I probably only had around 50 grams of carbs because there's carbs in broccoli. There's a little bit of carbs in my sauce that I put on my broccoli and chicken. There's a little bit of carbs in my protein shakes, so it does add up. So yesterday was, again, ballpark, probably 2,500 calories. So again, I stepped on the scale today and I dropped a little bit after, eating that yesterday. So pretty much what I'm having to do is say that, look, I may lose a little bit of muscle on those days. And some people say 2,500 calories is a lot. Not for me, guys. Let's keep in mind, my maintenance is really high. I don't have a slow metabolism. I don't gain body fat because I have a slow metabolism or any bullshit like that. I burn an enormous number of calories. I'm an overeater, right? Let's be honest here. Let me just call it like it is. I eat like a fat pig if I'm not careful. If I don't watch what I do, I eat like a fat pig, right? I don't think even my haters are going to disagree with you. People who hate me are going to be like, well, he's being honest there, right? I'm being honest. If I do not watch and track what I eat, I will eat like a fat pig. So I have a hell of an energy turnover. My energy turnover is ridiculous. I'm more active than people think. I do walk my dog and stuff twice a day and all of that. So we've got all that to deal with. So yeah, the scale is definitely coming down again this week doing that. But realistically speaking, if I have to estimate at this point, I think my best case scenario of weight loss is going to be 80% fat loss, 20% is going to be lean mass. That lean mass does not necessarily have to be lean tissue loss. It does not have to be tissue proteins. It's going to be a combination of water, glycogen, connective tissue running through the fat. And if I plug that number in and be honest with myself and say, for every 10 pounds I lose, 2 of it is going to be something besides fat. Me weighing what I'm weighing now and going back and assuming that numbers were right at 230 pounds on the DEXA, I'm going to have to drop to 205. I'm going to have to drop down to 205 to reach 15% body fat this year. I have around 14 weeks left this year. I'm 222 now. That's 17 pounds. That means that I need to lose consistently 17 pounds over the next 14 weeks. My DEXA scan is technically scheduled before the end of the year. I may not hit the 15% on the DEXA scan. I might end up being 16%, even if I do everything perfect on the next DEXA. Because I just want to be at the 15 by the end of the year. So I might be 16% and then drop to 15, over the rest of the month after that. So we can estimate it based on that, though. If I hit the DEXA scan and I'm 16.2 or whatever, we could look at the fat loss through there, track it, and assume however many pounds is going to be more change in the percentage. But I've got to be realistic with myself. I am probably going to have to drop to 205 this year in order to reach my body fat goal. And to me, that sounds crazy. Like, I'm on 205. Jesus, that seems light for me. But it really isn't. I mean, at 5'9", 205 pounds is not a low body weight by any means. By any means. But, I thought I would update people and tell people what I'm going to have to do, what my game plan is, why I'm cutting a little harder, why I'm doing my 4 days every week of much lower calories, of mostly protein. Well over half of my calories on those days are protein. And why I'm doing it that way. Again, it's just going to be the issue of getting just enough food in on my training days to fuel training, fuel recovery. Contrary to what some people have said or asked in the comments, why are you carb loading on your training days when you're trying to lose body fat? I'm not actually carb loading. When I mean my carbs, I don't mean a lot. I mean the ones that I am getting for the week are based around my training. because I need to make the most effective use of them. So like I said, on Friday, my pre-workout carb was a single cantaloupe, and my post-workout carb was a single cantaloupe. Everything else was just trace because of all the vegetables I eat. I'm trying to eat at least a pound of green vegetables every day. Things like that. That stuff does start adding up a little bit. It contributes a little bit. So I'm actually running on more protein calories than anything else. So I'm getting most of my glucose from protein at this point because, again, that's a very, very effective way to get very positive changes in body composition, when you're trying to lose weight, is to go ahead and protein load. It's not ideal for gaining muscle, but it is really good for preserving muscle during rapid fat loss. So I'll just adjust it as I go, and at a certain point, I might find that if I'm not losing weight, eating whatever calories on the other days, then I may have to adjust it again. And that's why people are asking, what are your macros? I'm not actually directly tracking my macros. I'm just basically tracking calories. I'm tracking calories, and I'm tracking protein. I'm just not adding all the other stuff up. I just know that there's probably a certain amount of carbs and fat in my other calories. But if I look at it, okay, my goal for today is to hit 400 grams of protein without going over 2,500 calories. Like will be my goal for today. It's what I did yesterday. I don't know my exact macros on that. Do I really need to figure out whether I ate 35 versus 45 grams of carbs? Is it really matter? Probably not. So I'm just trying to track at that point. Am I getting the protein goal I'm shooting for? And am I getting roughly the net calories I'm shooting for? And that's it. It's as simple as that. And that's what I'm doing. So I don't actually know my macros. I don't actually know my exact macros. I can ballpark it. All right, guys. But that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. And I will talk to you guys next time.